Today I'm headed to Greenwood Cemetery in Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm here today to see the grave site that is the most visited grave in the cemetery. And it's not governors or senators or congressmen or even actors that are buried here, but that of a 4-year-old child. The grave that we'll be visiting is that of Nanny Tyler. She was actually a child of a prominent judge and criminal judge and financial officer for Clarksville at the time of her passing. And that was Judge Charles Waller Tyler and his wife, Molly. And you may wonder why this 4-year-old child's gravesite is the most visited in the cemetery. And partly it was because it was a beloved 4-year-old child. The other may be because it has a very elaborate marker, as you'll soon see. And maybe the biggest part of it is that in 1996, the theft of this top part of her gravestone was stolen and made national news. So let's take a look at Nanny's grave. We're now at the corner of Section 6 in the cemetery, the Tyler plot, and we will talk a little bit more about some of these other markers, but we mainly want to focus now on that of Nanny. And as you can see before I get up closer to the little child statue part of the marker, there was a flat part that's been broken, and it is been that way, I think, for several years. But the top part is the part that was stolen and made national news in 1996. Before I get into the actual story about the statue being stolen and the long journey it would take before it would make its way back to its home here in Greenwood Cemetery, I want to talk a little bit more about Nanny and her grave and all. And as you can see, they've got Nanny carved there at the base of this statue here. And as I mentioned earlier, about it being broken, the flat part, I didn't show you that it has little Nanny Tyler there on that part as well. And as you can notice here, there's several trinkets at the feet of Nanny's marker here. And a lot of times you're going to see beads around her neck or maybe around her wrist, or even flowers that are tucked in around her feet or her hand. And as you can notice there, her little hand has got broken fingers off and all, but it once held a little rose in that hand when it was new. And this little statue is made to the very detailed part, even down to the bows in her hair, the lace around her collar, the piping on the dress and all. And that's because it was taken from an actual photo that her dad, Judge Tyler, would send to Italy to have this marble statue carved. And yes, there was sculptors that could have carved it in Clarksville, but for some reason he saw fit to send it off to Italy. I guess maybe he thought there were better carvers there. There's even little details of bows in her socks, and everything is to the detail that is on it. On one side it has safe in the arms of Jesus. On the back part it has got our little darling, and on the next side that we're going to be looking at is going to give you the details of Nanny's birth date and death date. Nanny's obituary column actually stated that Nanny died from diphtheria. And now about the story of the theft of Nanny's statue. It was chiseled loose from the base just below her little feet in the statue and taken away from Greenwood Cemetery. And in 1996, a couple of months after, I think it was, that the statue was stolen and made the national news, people saw in a antique-type magazine a man in Boston, Massachusetts was selling a garden statue. And that garden statue just happened to be Nanny Tyler. People told him, wrote in or called him or whatever, and notified him it was a stolen statue. And he called the Clarksville police immediately and said that he had that statue and he was going to return it. He had no idea it was stolen. He got it as a garden statue. He had bought, I think, in antique trade show either in Indiana or Virginia. And the person he bought it from was a woman that was from supposedly St. Louis, Missouri. So Nanny made a long trip to get back home, and in that process supposedly the lady had broken her arm when she was loading it into her car from the trade show when she bought it or was taking it to the trade show. You're now looking at the statue part of Mildred Tyler, and that was Nanny's grandmother, and she died like the year before Nanny did. And so that's how come Nanny is buried next to her, because the grandmother had died first. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit on Nanny's grandmother's marker so you can read and what's on it. It looks like the bottom part here has a verse from a gospel hymn. Now let's take a look at Nanny's mother's marker. And it's the large cross. It's in the, I guess you would call it the front row or section of the actual plot for the Tylers. And it looks like her maiden name was Settle. It's Molly Settle Tyler. Now let's take a look at Nanny's father's marker, and I think that's going to surprise you. Yes, this is Judge Tyler's marker here, and it's very simple and plain, but for sure while he was living, he wanted those women that he loved and the little girl that he loved so much to have elaborate stones. A couple of more of the smaller markers in this family plot, I believe, is that of a grandson of Judge Tyler's and a stepbrother. As we leave Judge Tyler's gravesite and take our final look at Nanny's marker, I will mention videos and stories out on the internet have been told about Nanny Tyler, as well as there's been books written by her. The county historian from Montgomery County has written a book on Nanny Tyler, and the front cover even includes the original photo that was sent to Italy to have this statue made. But we'll leave here and head on down on the same street, Greenwood Avenue, as this cemetery to see the home where Nanny was born and would die. The house where Nanny lived is definitely a privately owned house, so you've got to respect their privacy and all. But here we are looking at it, and how can you say for sure that this was Judge Tyler's home? Well, if you look at the bottom of the gate, he had it marked for it. It has the initials CWT on it for Charles Waller Tyler. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day. And I'll close out by showing you the other side of the house as we pass by.